we now present
Robin Hood and Her Merry Woman.
Have any perceptive folk out there
Noticed it?
Now, we all know you've heard more versions of the Robin Hood legends than you've had hot dinners. Every time you turn around, there seems to be another. If they're not leaping off the lava shelves at you, then they're flashing from the TV or movie screen.
Well, let us say without further ado that our version is the true one.
Let there be no mistake about that.
Over the past 1,000 years or so, some details have gone down the drain, and it's a devil of a job to fight the propaganda.
Now, we know it may be difficult for you to accept some of the lesser-known elements of our tale, but we remain confident that open-minded, free-thinking people, such as yourselves, are more than up to it.
All right. Enough with the chin-wagging. Let's get on with it, for heaven's sake. Do you want to keep them here all day?
Sorry. Ladies and gentlemen, may we present to you Lady Robin of Locksley.
Oh, no. There will be none of that lady jazz here. You're in my territory now, the Forest of Sherwood. I make the rules here, and rule number 6 clearly states that we operate on a strictly first-name basis. Hello, and welcome, one and all. I'm Robin, spelled with a Y. I needn't remind you. Hey, merry women, come and meet the people who are paying your wages today.
Hey everyone. The Merry Women have been making their home in Sherwood Forest for quite some time now.
And as you may have noticed, they're all ladies.
Women!
Sorry, I keep forgetting.
Ladies wear tall, pointy hats with gauzy bits floating off the ends. They're constantly getting into trouble with wicked wizards and fire-breathing dragons, and expecting some poor schmuck of a knight to go tearing off into the sunset to save them. We have no room for such pathetic creatures here.
Nope.
Why, there's not a woman in this band who has so much as seen a tall, pointy hat in 9, 10 months now.
That's right.
And as for dragons, I only wish a nice fat one would make an appearance in this part of Sherwood. A diet of the king's deer and wild boar is all right as far as it goes, but variety, as they say, is the spice of life.
That's right. I have a wonderful recipe for roast chicken over wild rice. I really must give it to you sometime.
As you can see, the band is composed entirely of women, and very few gentlemen even enter Sherwood Forest.
Gentlemen, fine. Worthless breed, always putting on airs and acting as if they own the place. Well, wealth doesn't mean this much to me. As far as I can see, money always seems to be finding its way into the wrong hands. Namely, gentlemen's hands. And a more dishonest and shady bunch you're not likely to find in 100 years.
That's right.
In fact, as I recall, only 2 gentlemen even make an appearance in our tale.
And one we hesitate to mention.
You must mean...
The Sheriff of Nottingham at your service, you miserable thief.
Boo! Watch your tongue, you pompous fool. You have no evidence against me or my women.
Women? Ha! A woman's place is in the home.
If for no other reason than to save gentlemen from poisoning themselves in undercooked meat or drowning themselves in good ale. You chauvinistic porker, if you have anything important to say, let's have it.
I do indeed have something important to say. The list of charges against you, Robin, is as long as my arm.
You mean nearly as long as your nose.
Enough! There are no less than 16 counts of you poaching the king's wild game here in Sherwood. 16!
Nonsense!
Don't try my patience. Everyone knows you live here in the forest. What, pray tell, do you live on?
Why, my dear sheriff, we are strict vegetarians. We wouldn't dream of touching a thick, juicy venison steak, or a tender haunch of roast boar, or a few fat rabbits, or even—
Liar! Thief and liar! You and your band of renegades hunt these forests. The king shall hear of this when he returns to England.
Oh, I too will have a few tales for our good king, sheriff. I think His Grace would find it very interesting what passes for justice in these parts.
And what is that supposed to mean?
Oh, you know precisely what that means. Driving poor, starving people to steal in order to stay alive, filling the prisons with good folk whose only crime is trying to feed their families.
And I suppose you consider yourself one of these poor, starving unfortunates.
Not I. You know well that I was nobly born. Yes, some of these women were driven into the forest by desperate poverty, but not I. I simply see for myself that the people need someone to look after them.
Someone to look after them? Ha! Is that what you call these antics? The list of charges against you doesn't end with poaching. You're also charged with a dozen counts of robbery.
Robbery. That's a sheriff's word. I prefer to think of it as redistribution of wealth.
Redistribution?
Yes, the wealthy do not deserve their ill-gotten gains. The hard-working poor do. I simply see to it that money finds its way into the right hands. That's all.
Well, I doubt that His Grace the King will see things in such a light. Thieving is thieving. It's that simple. And everyone knows you're to blame for the many robberies that have taken place here in Sherwood.
Well, Sheriff, where's your proof?
Proof? I don't need proof. I'm the Sheriff of Nottingham. Don't threaten me, you vagabonds. Go home to your husbands.
What was that about not needing proof, Sheriff?
Enough.
Look, I don't think you have a very strong position here. All in all, I think the best thing you could do is get a move on back to Nottingham.
I'll decide.
And since we wouldn't want to overburden you on your journey, how about handing over your gold?
Hand over my gold? Are you mad?
Not the last time I checked.
You can't rob me.
Why not?
I'm the Sheriff of Nottingham.
So you are. And as you have observed, I am an outlaw. So are they.
That's right.
And it looks to me as if you're pretty well outnumbered, wouldn't you say? So what do you say? The gold?
Well, I'll let you off with a warning this time.
My, that's big of you.
But I'll have my day. And when I do, Sherwood Forest will be free from your antics. Mark my words.
Come on, let's go. Get out of here. Think of the pace. Let's go. Let's go. Well, it looks like you've bested the Sheriff of Nottingham yet again, Robin.
Yes. How many last warnings do you make this?
Around 30, I should think. Well, so much for the first guy in our tale. How about the second one?
Oh, well, he's a different kettle of fish. You must mean Master Marvin.
How did you meet him, Robin?
Well, it was rather unfortunate, actually. I mean, look at him. Adorable, yes. But he looks just like all the other gentlemen we pester and rob. How was I to know he'd be any different?
Outlaws, vagabonds, ladies. Sorry.
What have we here? What have we here?
Looks to be
Oh,
6 feet tall.
What? Well, well, well. And who might you be?
I am Master Marvin, but who are you?
Oh, surely you must know. To hear the Sheriff of Nottingham talk, one would think our fame had spread to the ends of the earth.
Are you Lady Robin of Locksley?
No, I'm plain old Robin Hood. With a Y, please. Always with a Y.
Well, it's a pleasure to meet you.
The pleasure's all mine. So, what brings you to Sherwood? Don't you know it's dangerous?
Of course I do. I might get beset by a band of thieves.
You're not afraid?
Well, I was a little bit, but now I've met you. I find it so fascinating that you live the way that you do.
Why? Because I'm a woman? Because I should be at home tending the fire and minding the children and baking stupid cakes?
No, because I admire you.
What?
I admire you. I wish I could live the way that you do.
Are you pulling my leg?
Of course not. king fighting overseas, all the people are suffering. But you and your band do something about it. And you should know, Robin, that the sheriff is fit to be tied. He says that he'll see you hanged even if you are a woman.
Oh my goodness, I'm not afraid of that old windbag.
Well, you should be. That old windbag is planning to trap you, Robin.
Oh, not the old let's have an archery contest to lure Robin into Nottingham trip again.
Well, yeah.
Do you believe this? You must think I was born yesterday. Don't you worry your pretty little head about me, Marvin. I know how that sheriff's weaselly little mind works, and I have no intention of showing off for his amusement. I'm perfectly happy here in Sherwood.
Well, you must be.
Look, Marvin, you look pretty wealthy. Mind making a contribution to SFWRF?
What's the SFWRF?
The Sherwood Forest Wealth Redistribution Fund.
Well, sure. Just see that it goes to a good cause.
Oh, it will. Say, you're a decent guy. Why not giving up all this gentleman jazz and joining the band? It might be kind of fun having a guy around. You could do the mending and the washing up.
Robin, I would love nothing more than to join your band, but I can't. You see, sleeping on the floor and fighting off the wolves and living off the land requires great bravery and nerves of steel, and I just won't bring anything to your band.
Nonsense! Can you cook?
Alas, no.
Well, can you sew?
Alas, no.
Oh, well, can you catch a kiss?
Pardon?
Ooh, not bad. Are you sure you won't join us?
I'm sorry, Robin, but I think I would be of better use back in Nottingham. I can let you know when the sheriff is coming to plot more trouble.
Good thinking, Marvin. You're all right, for a guy. And thanks for the donation. I've got my eye on a widow and her children. Christmas may just come early for them this year.
All right, Robin. Goodbye, but be careful.
Oh, don't worry about me. You're the one who needs to be careful. You never know where thieves and brigands may be lurking.
A nice fellow, Master Marvin.
The best.
A pity he won't join the band.
Well, you know what men are like. They get used to the little comforts, feather beds, regular meals, that sort of thing. It's not for nothing that we call them the weaker sex.
Robin, how about telling us about a few of your members of your merry band?
Yes, how did they end up joining the band?
Very well. As you know, I'm a regular whiz with the stout staff. A handy piece of wood can save your neck if you know how to use it properly. And wood is one thing that we have plenty of in Sherwood. Well, one day we were, making merry, skinning rabbits, plucking pheasants, etc., when along came the most amazing woman. Hey, you there!
Who, me?
No, the rooster beside you. Who do you think?
There's no need for that.
Oh, I will speak as I like. What's your business in Sherwood?
Who wants to know?
Who wants to answer?
And what's it to do with you?
Everything in Sherwood concerns me, my fine friend.
Well, all right then. At the moment, I'm wondering whether or not to give you a clout, actually.
Oh, that's rich. You give me a clout. Me, the ruler of Sherwood Forest. Well, come on then. Let's see how you fare.
All right, you little show-off. Are you ready?
I was born ready.
Not bad, am I?
Get ready to eat your words, stranger.
Robin!
Good enough? No chance.
Get ready. Here it comes.
Here what comes?
This.
You are a fighter after my own heart, my girl. Welcome to Sherwood.
As we are friends, perhaps you can tell me, where might I find the famous Robin Hood everyone's talking about? I'd like to meet her. What's so funny?
Well, nothing. It's just that you don't have far to look.
You don't mean you are Robin Hood?
None other.
But
I bet she'd be an old woman by now. You rob the sheriff of Nottingham, you rob from the rich and give to the poor and so on?
And why is that so hard to believe?
Why, your fame has spread to the ends of the earth. It's not every day you meet a living legend.
Well, there's a first time for everything. What do they call you?
Well, my name is Jane Little, but most people call me Little Jane. You can call me whatever you like, so long as you let me join your merry band, Robin.
Done! Merry women, welcome Little Jane.
Yay!
Of course, not everyone was so keen on joining Robin's band at first.
No, indeed.
I think I know who you mean.
So, you're the famous Robin Hood.
Sister.
Oh, don't you sister me. I'm not one of your fans.
No.
Certainly not. I've lived on my own in Sherwood Forest for many years without any trouble at all. And then you showed up.
Is that so?
Now the place is crawling with sheriff's men. Not to mention the curiosity seekers who think that this is some sort of show put on expressly for their amusement. I don't like it, I tell you. I intend to petition His Grace the King upon his return. Until then, seems like I'm stuck with you. There goes the neighborhood. A bit of respect, please. I've been independent for quite some time, and I assume that this will take some getting used to.
Oh, forgive me, sister. What will take some getting used to?
Why, joining your band, of course.
Joining mine!
You don't think I can find any peace here in Sherwood, do you? No, you've seen to that. And I suppose I've had enough of living on my own.
But, sister, we...
Look, if I can't enjoy my solitude, what choice do I have? None, that's what. Do you or do you not agree?
Sister, we're outlaws.
We steal, we hunt the king's deer.
We've even taken gold from the sheriff of Nottingham himself. What's a nice girl like you doing in a place like this?
Look, I can draw a bow with the best of you. How do you think I've managed to survive on my own all these years? Not on bread and water, I tell you.
No.
Not on your Nelly. Venison stew.
You hunt deer?
No, I whistle and then they leap into my cooking pot. What do you think?
Forgive me.
Well, it's just we can think, well, a nun.
And you're a lady. I'm a lady by birth. Does that mean all that you're good for is wringing your hands and yowling to be rescued? No. Well, I'm a nun. I'm also a human being. We do have to eat, you know.
Point taken.
So, am I in or not?
You're in. Welcome to the band.
Yay! Sister Tuck rhymes with duck.
Emma?
Emma.
Okay, that's quite enough. Thank you.
Well, if you'll excuse me, sister, I have some gold to give away. Anyone with me?
Yay!
Nothing. Honestly, well, it does rhyme.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, you can see how screwy most of your Robin Hood characters have gotten.
Robin is never spelled with a Y in your tales, and your married women are married men.
Why, the only female in the whole story seems to be this mystical beast named Lady Marian.
Presumably based off of Master Marvin. But what a wimp!
Marian? Not Marvin?
Maid Marian. She seems to be nothing more than the worst bits of ladyship. Nothing but those fancy hats with gauzy bits floating off the end, always waiting to be rescued by some man.
Obviously, Master Marvin is nothing like that. Why, I doubt he even owns a pointy hat. It wouldn't suit him anyway, would it?
It's a plot, you know? Like Hollywood, all the good fellows get the great parts, and the girls are left with not much. But this is reality.
Little Jane, Sister Tuck, come here for the words with me, please.
This had better be good. I was in the middle of cutting myself a new staff.
Yes, what is it? We have a full-time job, you know. This martyring thing, we haven't got all day.
Well, we just thought this might be a good opportunity for you to give these good people a glimpse of the real picture here at Sherwood. Well, there isn't much to tell. You know now that the movies and most of the books out there are complete nonsense, cooked up by jealous men who wish they'd have thought of it first. Quite honestly, they'd only made a mess of everything. But Robin's fantastic. She set that widow and her children up all right. Leaves gold pieces outside their shack a few each week. They think the fairies bring it.
And as you can tell, I'm no drunkard. I don't know how that made its way into the legend. I never have more than a small sherry at bedtime. But people talk, I suppose. Though we do bedevil the sheriff, he has what's commonly known as a bad attitude. Master Marvin, what news?
It's the sheriff. He's coming, and he has a warrant for Robin's arrest.
Get going and warn her. We'll do what we can to stall him.
Right.
What do we do?
Don't worry, I've been planning for just such an emergency.
You have? But what?
Oh there! Robin Hood, your luck is finally run out.
No time to explain, just follow my lead. Stand there.
I hope you know what you're doing.
All right, I have it at last. An airtight warrant for the arrest and subsequent hanging of Robin Hood. I told her this day would come, but did she believe me? No. The vile, thieving, boastful...
Sheriff, please. Such language.
Forgive me, sister. I didn't expect to see a lone nun in the middle of a forest with such brigands.
Sheriff, you must not say such things. We are all brothers and sisters after all.
These are no sisters of mine. They're outlaws.
Sheriff, do not undo all the good work I've been accomplishing with these troubled souls these many weeks.
Good work?
Of course, bringing some moral instruction to these poor devils. I've been sent on a special commission to show them the error of their ways. Isn't that so, my child?
Are you out of your... Oh, right. Error ways. How could I forget?
It is as I feared. I'm afraid you're a bad influence on them, Sheriff.
Me? A bad influence? I'm the Sheriff of Nottingham.
Nevertheless, I must ask you to leave me to my work. You are no good for their moral development.
Pardon me, sister, but I came with an arrest warrant for Lady Robin of Locksley, and I do not intend on leaving this forest without her.
Is that so? Well, you'll just have to...
Don't you see how aggressive they become at the very sight of you? I'm afraid that this will never do.
I demand to see Robin Hood.
That can be easily arranged. Robin, dear, the sheriff is here to see you. And remember, my child, be guided by me.
This is beyond belief. Lady Robin and her merry women being guided by a lady in the ways of peace? Robin, we meet again. Master Marvin, what are you doing here?
It was Marvin, dear, who brought me to these poor wretches. Wasn't it? As you can tell, he's not exactly possessed of quite an eloquent turn of phrase. Thankfully, I am. So, he told me of their plight, and I came as soon as the special commission came through. You know.
You have a special commission from him?
Shh! Don't go spreading it around. The force will be crawling with pilgrims.
Sister, I must see your papers.
Oh, ye of little faith! Shame on you, Sheriff! Shame!
Marvin, you're a good lad, well known in court. Tell me, is this preposterous story true?
Remember, Marvin, you are already forgiven.
Well, of course it's true, Sheriff. I mean, would you doubt the words of this good nun? I mean, tell him, Robin.
Upon my honor as a lady. It is true, Sheriff. I have seen the error in my ways. My days of crime are over. From now on, I will do no more than help this good woman in her worthy work, collecting donations for the poor and destitute, assisting the wealthy in the distribution of alms, even putting poor forest beasts out of their misery. Isn't that true, my loyal friends?
That's right.
Sister Chuck has agreed to stay with us here in the peace and seclusion of Sherwood to continue our instruction for as long as it takes to put us all firmly on the straight and narrow.
Or until His Grace the King returns and throws this slimy sheriff in the royal dungeons.
As you can see, Sheriff, all is in hand. There's no need for Lady Robin to return with you to Nottingham, or for you to ever pay another visit to these renegades. As you can tell, they are answering to a higher authority.
I see.
I knew you would. You know how pious His Grace the King is. Imagine how upset he'd be if he heard upon his return that his loyal sheriff refused to honor a special commission.
Yes, come now, Sheriff. Be a good lad and make a contribution to the sisters' benevolent fund.
Benevolent funds?
I think you should, Sheriff. I mean, she does have a direct line.
Oh, very well. Pardon me, sister, but this whole business is just a bit too much to bear. I need a vacation. I wonder what the fares are to the Bermuda this time of year.
Oh, that was brilliant, Chuck! Absolutely brilliant!
What a gullible twit. Good work, Tom.
Come, merry women. Marvin, you too. This calls for a celebration. The last one to the wineskin is a dead hedgehog.
We'll leave them to make merry, but you'll help us, won't you?
The next time you hear someone repeating those tired, old Robin Hood tales of big, brawny men and damsels in distress, tell them the truth about the merry women.
No pointy hats.
No Maid Marian.
No Little John.
No drunken friars.
No merry men.
And, oh yes, one more thing. Make sure they remember to spell Robin with Y, will you? You can see how touchy she gets about spelling.